What's up everyone, it's Kelly and today I've got another swatch review for you. So today we're looking at the latest collection from ILNP for spring 2022, which is called Cloud Nine. In addition to having these 6 new nail polishes, ILNP also rebranded. So they have a new logo. It's the same bottle, but the logo on the bottle is different and also the logo on the cap of the bottle is different. So we'll talk about my thoughts on the rebrand at the end of the video, but if you haven't heard of ILNP before, they are an independent nail polish brand that is based out of the US. They are 7 free, meaning they are free of 7 of the potentially harmful ingredients that are often found in nail polish. They are cruelty free, meaning they do not test their products on animals, and they also have on their website that they make a conscious effort to avoid using animal derived ingredients. Before we get into the collection, I want to take a moment to thank the sponsor of today's video, Skillshare. Skillshare is an online learning community with thousands of inspiring classes for anyone who loves learning and wants to explore their creativity and learn new skills. If you have a specific skill you're trying to learn, Skillshare is the perfect place to start. From photography and illustration to graphic design, freelancing, and more, you can find classes that'll match your goals and interests. They're ad-free, so there's no distractions, and they also launch new premium classes each week, so there's always something new to discover. I personally have been using Skillshare for over a year now, and I find so much value in their classes. Most recently, I've been taking a class by Thomas Frank called Real Productivity: How to Build Habits That Last. And I really enjoy classes like this because I feel like they're not just surface level. I'm really learning actionable steps for improving my life and setting goals for myself that I can actually reach. So right now, Skillshare is offering a special deal to my followers. The first 1,000 people to click on the link in my description or use the code KELLIMARISSA at checkout will get a 1-month free trial of Skillshare. So once again, I highly recommend it. I have been using it for so long and really enjoying it and finding so much value in it. And thank you again to Skillshare for sponsoring today's video. So now back to ILNP, we've got 6 new polishes to go over, and they're all pretty jelly-like consistency that have iridescent flakes running throughout. It's actually really interesting looking at promo pictures and also the polishes together. It looks like we have a lot of really similar polishes, so I'm very excited to actually compare them. So let's dive in and roll the footage. So as with all of my swatch and review videos, I am using base coat underneath all of my swatches just to protect my natural nail and prevent any stains. Today I am using the Cuccio base coat, so I'll link it below. So starting off the collection with this first shade, Rain Shower, and this is a super light, soft, milky blue jelly base, and then within that base we have some iridescent flakies. So because it's in this light base, the flakies mostly shine orange into pink, and then you get to see little flecks of other colors as well depending on how the light hits it. It's super opalescent and soft and really beautiful. It's a little bit thicker of a formula than I am used to from ILNP. I find that usually they have a little bit more of a thinner, delicate formula, and because of that, it's usually 3 coats. Now, even with this thicker formula, I did notice that it took 3 coats to get full opacity, and there were just some areas that felt a little bit more sheer than others. So with this type of formula, I would recommend doing very thin coats and then potentially going back in and patching up the areas that are a little bit more sparse. So even in those 3 coats, you can just see a touch of visible nail line. You might want to do a 4th if you want to cover that all up. Next up, we have the shade Harbor, and this is one of 2 purple polishes in this collection. This one is a really soft, slightly cool toned lavender jelly base, and again, we have these iridescent flakies running throughout. So in this one, I would say with that light base color, the main flaky color that you see is pretty green, but you still get a little bit of a golden yellow and some little orange bits of flaky depending on how you move your nail around. And once again, I just found it was a little bit patchy in 2 coats, so I did put on a 3rd coat, and I feel like that really gave this color a lot more vibrance and life. Again, it still feels very soft and milky and opalescent, but once I have that full coverage on my nail, it definitely loses some of that patchy look where some areas of the nail are a little bit more opaque than others, and you still get that sort of jelly-like consistency because there's a very soft amount of visible nail line there. Next up we have the shade Dreamscape, and this is the other purple in the collection. This one is also a soft lavender base, and looking at it next to Harper, they look very different because I would say Harper is cooler toned and Dreamscape is warmer toned, but I think they actually have the same base color. I think that the reason these look different is because the iridescent flakies within them are different colors. So in Dreamscape, the primary colors that you see are this hot pink into orange and then a little bit of gold. And like I said, in Harper, you get those cooler tones. So this automatically looks like a warmer polish on the nails. Again, we get that same formula going on here. It's definitely very soft, it's very opalescent, and you still get a little bit of that visible nail line through, and it did take 3 coats to hit that full opacity. I feel like this color, there's still a little bit of patchiness, especially around the cuticle area though. Next up we have the shade Fairy Floss. This one is a soft pink milky jelly base, and again we have those iridescent flakies running throughout. And this one, for whatever reason, I found to be a little bit more opaque and less patchy than the others in the collection. In one coat it wasn't quite there yet in terms of smoothness across the nail, but I found that it looked really good in 2 coats, still getting a little bit of that visible nail line and softness, but it wasn't patchy. There weren't areas, in my opinion, that were more opaque than others. It was pretty smooth across the nail, so I was really impressed with this one. I did end up putting on a 3rd coat just to see what that looked like, but honestly this is probably the only one in the collection that I think I could wear in 2 coats without worrying about it looking pretty patchy on my nails. I think I've said patchy like 80 times so far in this video. But yeah, this is a really beautiful color. Again, those iridescent flakies shine a little bit on the warmer side. I think we mostly see that golden yellow color and a little bit of orange and green. Next up we have the shade Open Skies, and this one I would describe as a slightly peachy pink milky jelly base, and I think this one is actually a little bit different from the rest of the polishes in this collection. We do have iridescent flakes running throughout, but they're actually a little bit finer and smaller than the flakies in the rest of the collection, so I felt that this one looked a little bit more like an iridescent shimmer within the polish. And aside from that, the actual iridescent color in here is this really beautiful intense turquoise, and it gets softened out a little bit with that pink, but it looks so stunning. I absolutely love that sharp contrast between the very warm base color and this cool, intense, iridescent shimmer color. Looks really stunning on. Again, needed 3 coats for full coverage here. And the final shade in the collection is this one, First Light, which is a super soft, light, almost white pink jelly base, and then we have iridescent shimmer running throughout. Again, a little bit smaller than the flakies than we have seen in the previous colors. This one is a little bit finer, and it's this really intense hot pink color. It's really hard to show on camera, and I have to say, out of all of the colors, which I think they look all very stunning in the bottle, but this one I think is the most beautiful just because we have this beautiful juxtaposition between this very light, almost white base color and this crazy intense hot pink color. But this one, in terms of opacity, was just not there even after the 3 coats to make it full coverage. I felt like there were some areas of my nail that looked less opaque than others, especially around my cuticle area. I just felt like it was really lacking. The color itself is so stunning, but I do not want to put 4 coats of polish on my nails. Just because I really loved the iridescent color of the flakies in this one, I wanted to try it over black, and this was also an experiment to see if I should layer the other polishes over black, but once I applied it, I realized it really wasn't gonna work because the jellies are a little bit on the crelly side, a little bit milkier. It kind of dilutes the iridescent color over black and it makes it look very patchy. So I didn't do that experiment on the rest of the polishes. So here are all of the shades together, and I am just very conflicted on how I feel about this collection. On the one hand, I think the colors are absolutely stunning, but I was really not happy with the patchiness of them, as I mentioned like 50,000 times. But I do think that they're so beautiful. I love how ethereal and opalescent these colors look, and I really want to make them work. So I'm probably going to try my best to match the base color with a similar polish in my collection that's full coverage and wear them as toppers like that. I think that might make these colors work for me because they are just too beautiful to give up on. So yeah, those are the polishes, and I have to say, in theory, I really love them. I think they build up really nicely, and I love seeing a slight twist on the current trend of these jelly polishes with the iridescent sparkle or flakies in there. And I say a twist because I think these are just a little bit milkier, but I am a little bit disappointed in these polishes. They're thicker than what I'm used to from ILNP, and it makes it hard to build them up. Even in 3 coats, they're a little bit patchy, and I think it's because of that thicker formula. I was able to go back in and just kind of patch up some areas, but I really don't love having to do that, especially because we're already working with a pretty thick formula that it felt like I had a lot of polish on my nails. I wish they had made the polishes a little bit more sheer because I would have preferred seeing more visible nail line but having a smooth, even coverage over being full coverage in 3 coats but still being a little bit patchy. And this isn't really a valid complaint, but I do wish that I could have worn these over other colors. I think that's really on trend right now, having these sort of iridescent jellies that you can wear on their own or over other colors, but they were just too milky and patchy to wear over other colors. So I was a little disappointed in that as well, but I know that's not what they were intending to do with the polishes, so I'll give them a pass on that. But all that said, I do think that a full manicure of these from far away looks really beautiful, and I'm probably still gonna wear them because I don't think that people look as closely at my nails as I do. And when you're just looking at a full hand manicure of it, I think it looks really beautiful. It has that really nice opalescent feel to it, and I do love these sort of milky colors. Now, let's talk a little bit about the rebrand. I feel like we've gotten some mixed reactions so far, but I have to say, personally, I absolutely love the new logo. I think that the original logo was nice and it looked very classy, but it was very hard to read. And I think that this new logo is a lot more readable and it's a lot more noticeable on the bottle. This is such a small complaint, but in the background of my videos, I like to have the polishes that I'm reviewing right behind me, and I like to have the labels facing forward. And with the old logo, I felt like it always took me forever to find which side had it because it was like just barely legible. But these ones, it's super easy and I think it looks really pretty. I also really prefer the cap. It's the same exact soft touch cap. It still has that medium wide flat brush, but the logo on the top of the cap I just think is a little bit cuter as well. I think it just gives a little bit more of a mainstream vibe, and it also feels a little bit more whimsical, whereas I think the old logo with the serifs felt a little bit classier. I think this one just feels like a little bit more modern. So these polishes are on the ILNP website. They come in 12 milliliter bottles and they retail for $10 USD each. So I will link everything down in the description so you can check them out if you're interested. But I'm curious to hear your thoughts. What do you think of this collection? What do you think of the rebrand and the new logo? Leave all of your thoughts in the comments because I am curious. And like I said, I know there's been a little bit of a mixed review of that new rebranding. I know I saw a couple of people mention that they don't love it because they like having a uniform look within each brand, but I actually remember when ILNP used to have these round bottles and they had a logo that looked like the I Heart New York symbol. If I have a picture, I'll post it right here so you guys can check that out. But I do appreciate that they kept the same bottle size. I think that's super important for me for organization. As far as what the actual logo looks like on the bottle, that I don't find to be as frustrating to match. But again, I want to hear what you think, so leave it all below. If you enjoy my swatch and review videos, please give this one a thumbs up. It lets me know I'm doing a good job. And if you're not already subscribed to my channel, please consider subscribing. I put out new videos every Tuesday, Friday, and Sunday. Huge shout out to my Cosmic Admirals on Patreon, Amanda M, Rocket Man's daughter, and Paula. I really appreciate your support, and I will see you all in my next video. Bye. Today's fun fact question comes from Patreon supporter Marsha, and Marsha wants to know, do you dress for comfort or to be fashionable, both every day and date night / girls night? I would say overall, I am very much on the comfort side. I tend to not buy things if I feel uncomfortable in them. I do try to be a little bit stylish, but I acknowledge that my personal sense of style is a little bit dated. I feel like I kind of like to dress early 2000s alternative, but like I really don't have clothing that's very uncomfortable. I don't even own that many pairs of jeans because I don't love wearing jeans that much. I really like wearing leggings, pants that have a little bit of a give where you can like move around or be really full in them. So I keep that in mind with most of my clothes. But I also, I mean, I try to look good. Try to be just a little bit fashionable. And when I'm going out for a date night, I try to just wear a dress because I feel like people really underestimate the comfort of dresses. I guess depending on the dress that you have. But for me, I have a ton of dresses that are just really soft fabric. You just put it on. You don't have to put on any pants or anything. Like, it's just one article of clothing and you're good to go. I think that's incredible. So that's what I tend to wear on date night. And then as far as girls' night, I personally am a person who dresses more comfortable on a girls' night. Maybe that's because the friends that I have, like, we don't go out to like clubs or anything. So when we're doing girls' night, it's like a self-care or like just going to the bar. So I'm usually in even more comfortable clothes than usual, like a hoodie. So yeah, I would say I steer towards comfortable. I'm curious to hear what everybody else's style is, so leave it all in the comments as well. I'm curious to hear what everybody else's style is, so leave that in the comments as well. And I will see you all in my next video. Bye!